All right, so this is my XRP Army News moment in time. My name is Ben. Basically used to work in the golf industry for a long time and then got into tech. I would do sales for a small machine learning company based out of Silicon Valley. And that's how I got into crypto. I was actually, when I was going to school, driving Uber to make some money, well, not in classes, and I was driving an engineer from Google, and he and I got talking about new developments, and I'd heard of blockchain, and I asked him about it, and his answer was very profound. He said the amount of things that this is going to affect, and people don't understand what this can affect. People working in tech in Silicon Valley had poo-pooed it and not paid attention to this point. He said is going to be bigger than you can imagine. And so I started looking at it, and I didn't do anything investing wise, but a fun little anecdote. I remember I was living in Sweden in 2016. I lived there for about a year, and they're a little more tech savvy. So I had some friends who were like, had some Bitcoin, and buddy was saying, you should get some Bitcoin. And I was like, well, what about this Ethereum or such and such? And I believe it was under $10 at the time, and I didn't do anything with it. But come fast forward to now, we all know, most of us, what happened between then and here. Coronavirus crash happened, and just some other pieces that I'd been watching in terms of just financial debt at a governmental level, globally, inequalities in access to technology, and just big inefficiencies that I'd seen working in machine learning tech that could be solved by blockchain. And I said, you know what, this is the time that we need to make a move, because all the charts, we're at the accumulation phase. I know some people have been through years of a bear market, so we were fortunate to kind of get in at the bottom of consolidation, which was nice, but it was also, how to convince my wife, like, hey, we've got all this money to buy a house, and I think we should keep as little as we need for that and put everything else into these investments. Was an interesting jumping off point. But she said, yeah, okay, like I think the world's going this way, and I think if you think these are things that are going to influence them, let's do it. This is how you make money. And so the biggest holding is XRP. I also invest based off the ISO standards. So I have XLM, I have XDC. I've got a couple other ones that are more long-term plays. XRP is definitely the biggest hold. That's just a combination of their team, what they're solving, the moving parts they seem to be adding out of nowhere this year too, or more confirmations. And then of course you throw in the heads, David Schwartz, Garlinghouse, and who they hobnob with. I mean, watch what people do and watch who they're hanging out with. I think that's real important, and they've got all of those. So I just feel like XRP was a great investment. Whether it, and the way I looked at it is, I think from an investing standpoint, it can't help but 10x from where it was earlier this year at the minimum. And at the minimum, that's a good investment no matter which way we go about it. So I said at the minimum, we'll probably get that. And at the maximum, who can say? Because I do think this is the first time an asset class has been created. Where do we feel? I feel like we are right now. I do believe we're probably in the the final 5 minutes of the game before the switch goes. I just think there's so many moving parts with killing of cash and people locked down, and how do we access information we need? Like even the voting thing in the U.S. could have been solved by blockchain. And I know the USPS has a patent, and they're rolling that out, and potentially maybe they'll pilot it and I don't know, but I think there's just so many things that can conveniently be solved by blockchain. And I do tend to have a skeptical view of the way the world progresses, that some technologies are withheld for periods of years till the rest of the bigger muckety mucks can position themselves to benefit or whatever they want to do with their power and influence. So I do think we're coming to that head where the beast can no longer be contained. It's going to be let loose, and there's a lot of huge potentials. I think growth in places like South America, Asian Pacific region, Africa, combined with internet access through our phones. That's all you need. We're going to watch these economies explode. So on the most positive outlook, I would love for XRP to just go bananas, and that would give us the ability to start making impactful changes to our community and our families, and who knows what else. We all have these big dreams that we secretly think about or talk about for XRP. But where it goes, I don't think anybody can say. And I agree. The tribalism that's happening, I think, is just a result of a long bear market and such a small market cap. Because the smaller the market cap, the more it can be manipulated. But we think about the solutions and what do they do, and you look at that in terms of the entire global market. And if any of these solutions, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, XLM, solve 5% of that whole pie, they're going to be huge just from 5%. So that's kind of the way I look at it. If they go ahead and are involved in more, that's great. But I think the just being stuck in a sub $1 trillion total market cap for crypto has made people much more tribalistic. People are fighting over a smaller pie than there really is, and I think everyone's going to be surprised. I don't think anyone's going to be able to say they know where this went, and if they did, they had huge dreams. But that's where I feel we're going. I think for a final message, I'd just say there's a lot of good changes happening. I've noticed that sometimes when I talk to friends and family, people feel like, either they're not paying attention or they don't want to pay attention, be it politics or the economy or, governments pushing each other around and bullying each other, or just, weird things are happening. I feel like there is a shift that's going on. I can't really describe it other than that, but I just think, we look at timelines and timing, and I think good things are coming. So I seriously encourage people to do their own research on what do you think crypto could solve, and invest in projects that are solving areas that you are either interested in, because we got to remember, it's not just going to be for finance. That's probably the first place they start, but there's so many applications to blockchain. There's so many ways it's going to change. I encourage people who have small businesses to look into ways that either financing can change them, or either moving networks for security. I mean, there are I'm just very inept at describing this, but I do encourage anyone who works in a business or any business to look into how blockchain could improve efficiencies, because that could keep a company around for years. Could be the make or break decision. I also encourage companies to hold cryptocurrencies in their assets, but that would be kind of the last thing I'd say.